Hello and welcome to the Ted Stonewall mystery of The Miller's Eye.
I was hauling grain sacks when Walter Hayward found me. Tuesday morning, 3 days before Harvest Fair. He had that look. 200 pounds each, stacked 4 high in the storage room. Father taught me to count sacks the way other borough folk count coin. Inventory matters more than conversation. 32 sacks that morning. 31 after I loaded one onto the grinding platform. Walter stood in the doorway. Big burrower, broad across the shoulders, hands like spades. His son had the same build, same hands. That look people get when they need something, mouth tight, eyes moving, checking if anyone else was around.
Ted Stonewall.
He said it flat, like announcing bad weather. The sack I was moving went back down. Mr. Hayward.
Got a problem.
He stepped inside, leaving the door open. Sunlight made the flour dust visible, floating.
Ram's gone. Prize ram. 3 days before the fair and he's gone.
Waited. People always say more if you wait.
Checked the paddock this morning. Gates latched proper, fence is sound, but the ram's not there.
Walter's jaw worked.
Champion bloodline. Paid good money. Was going to show him at the fair. Had bets on him winning.
When did you last see him?
Yesterday evening. Fed all the stock at sunset. He was there.
Anyone else see him?
Robin helped with evening feeding. Said the ram was there.
Robin, Walter's son. 20-something. Friendly enough, not particularly bright. Seen him at the Badger's Den. Laughed loud and bought rounds when he had coin. Same broad shoulders as his father. Same spade-like hands. Same everything. Except the sense.
You checked the fencing close?
Every inch.
Frustration carried in his voice.
No breaks, no tunnels underneath. Gates been latched from the outside all night. Checked for prints, nothing clear. Ground's too hard.
Flour dust brushed off my apron easy. Father was in the back, checking the water wheel. Wouldn't miss me for an hour.
I'll look.
Walter's face shifted. Relief mostly, some surprise.
Appreciated. Can't pay much, but...
Grain's fair payment.
The walk to the Hayward farm took 20 minutes. South Lane, past the old oak, fields green with summer growth. Good land. Walter kept it well. The ram paddock sat behind the main barn. Square enclosure, fence posts solid, rails tight. Gate was latched with a loop of rope through an iron ring. Simple but secure. But something was wrong. Took me 3 seconds to see it. The rope. Frayed at the wrong spot, not where it threaded through the ring, normal wear, but 6 inches down the length. Fresh fraying. Like someone had pulled it tight recently. Hard. The perimeter first. Walter watched, arms crossed. Fence was sound. I tested each post with my weight, set deep, rails tight. No give. A lamb couldn't squeeze through here. A full ram? Impossible. Gate showed more wear on the latch side when I looked closer. Rope had been worked loose and retied. Could see it in how the fibers lay. Someone who knew knots could spot it. No hoof prints leading away. Ground was summer hard, like Walter said. Wouldn't take clear prints unless something heavy pressed deep. Inside the paddock, water trough, feeding area, shelter from rain. Fresh droppings near the trough. Ram had been there recently. Counted posts. 12. Counted rails. 3 per section. 36 total. Counted gate hinges. 2. Everything countable. Counted. Father taught me that numbers don't lie, like borough folk do.
Show me where you keep feed.
Walter led me to the barn. Feed bins lined one wall. Grain, hay, root vegetables in sacks. Everything organized, labeled, clean. Walter ran a proper operation. The bins. Opened each one. Checked the amounts.
You give the ram special feed.
Grain mix. Keeps him healthy for showing. Bins over there.
Walter pointed to a smaller container. The grain bin was half empty. Lifted a handful. Smelled it. Normal. Let the grain run through my fingers back into the bin. Like sifting flour through mesh. Checking for quality, for foreign matter. Millwork trained your hands, trained your mind.
How much grain yesterday evening?
Didn't check exact. Robin handled the feeding.
Where's Robin now?
In town, Won't be back till afternoon.
He left this morning.
Early, before breakfast. Said he had errands.
Something about that timing nagged. Robin did evening feeding. Ram was there at sunset, gone by morning. But Robin left early, before checking the paddock, before knowing the ram was gone. Filed that away. Numbers and timing. They tell stories if you listen. Outside again, stood at the gate. Looked at the angle of the sun. Morning light came from the east, hit the paddock from that direction. From the gate, the house, the barn, fields beyond. North, a hedgerow separated Hayward land from neighbouring property. South, open pasture. West, the road. The hedgerow pulled my attention. Old growth, planted generations back to mark boundaries. Branches tangled, leaves dense. Walked along it. 30 feet down, found a gap. Not obvious unless you were looking. Branches bent back, like something had pushed through recently. Knelt. The hedgerow smelled like old growth and bird nests. Branches bent back stiff, resisting. Wool caught on a branch, white, curly. Still had the lanolin smell, fresh. Last day or two.
Mr. Hayward.
He came over, looked at the wool, his jaw tightened.
Someone took him through here.
Or something pushed through.
I stood up.
Either way, he went north.
The gap in the hedge led to another field. Empty, grass high, no stock. Grass was bent in a line leading across the field toward a small copse of trees. Old trees. Been there longer than the Burrows. Longer than... Didn't have words for how long. Just old. Followed the line. Bent grass was clear enough to follow. In softer patches of ground found hoofprints, sheep prints. Single animal. The copse was old trees. Thick enough to block midday sun. Dark and cool inside. Smelled of earth and rotting leaves. And there, a pen. Makeshift. Built recent. 4 posts driven into ground. Rope strung between them, forming a rough square. Fresh cut branches piled on one side as windbreak. Inside the pen, Walter's prize ram, eating grain from a bucket. The ram looked healthy. Clean water in another bucket. Someone had been taking care of him.
What in the green earth?
Someone moved him. Built this pen. Brought him here. Been feeding him.
Who?
Walked around the pen. Looked at the construction. Posts were cut green wood, not dried. Fresh mud at the base where they'd been pounded in. Rope was new, the kind sold at Tubbs's shop in the Burrows. Grain in the bucket matched what Walter kept in his barn. Branches used for windbreak. Freshly cut, sap still sticky on some. The bucket for water, green rim, dented handle. Familiar, seen it before. Where? Not at the mill, wrong size for flour transport. Not at the Badger's Den, wrong shape for ale. Somewhere else. Recent. 3 days? 4? Closed my eyes. Let my mind work backward through the week. The bucket. Green rim, dented handle. Where? The Badger's Den. 3 nights back. Robin at the bar. Loud laugh. Buying rounds. That bucket beside his stool. Hauling water for his horse, he'd said. Opened my eyes. Looked at the bucket again. Water stains on the inside. Fresh. Feed bucket shouldn't have water stains. Wrong use. The pieces locked into place. Click. Like the grinding stones finding their gap.
Mr. Hayward, what time did Robin leave for town this morning?
Early, before breakfast. Said he had errands.
When does he usually go to town?
Afternoons, mostly. After work's done.
Looked at the ram. At the fresh grain. At the new cut branches.
This is recent. Built in the last few days. Someone's been coming here, morning and evening. Feeding the ram, giving him water. Taking care of him.
But who'd steal a ram just to take care of it?
Picked up a piece of the cut branch. Examined the cut. Clean. Made with a sharp blade. Angle suggested someone right-handed, about average height.
Mr. Hayward, Robin has a knife? The one with the bone handle?
Aye. He carries it everywhere. Why?
This cut matches that blade. Seen Robin cut rope at the mill. Same angle, same depth.
Walter's face went very still.
You're saying my son stole my ram?
Saying someone built this pen. Recent. Used your grain. Used rope and buckets I've seen Robin carry. Someone who knew the ram was valuable. Someone who had access to your barn.
But why?
That was the question. Back to the pen. Looked at the construction again. Not theft for profit. Someone taking care of the ram this well wasn't planning to slaughter him or sell him. This was something else.
How long until the harvest fair?
3 days. Well, 2 days now.
Who finds missing livestock at the fair? Who gets attention for it?
Walter understood. His face shifted from anger to something more complicated. Disappointment, maybe, or embarrassment.
The hero. The burrower who finds the missing ram gets celebrated, gets attention.
Gets attention from lasses.
Walter closed his eyes. Walter. There's a girl, farmer's daughter from Scary. Robin's been sweet on her for months. She'll be at the fair. It fit together. The trail followed the mill race, downhill, inevitable. Robin wanted to impress a girl, hide the ram somewhere safe, keep it fed and healthy, then discover it, right before the fair. Be the hero, get the girl's attention. Maybe even some gratitude from his father once everyone moved past the initial panic. Dumb plan, but the kind of dumb that made sense if you were 20-something and desperate to impress a lass.
He's not a bad lad. Just foolish.
Most bad decisions come from foolishness.
I reached for the gate rope.
Well, ram looks healthy. No harm done except worry, and 3 days of my time searching.
Walter's voice carried anger again.
And making me think someone was thieving from me.
You want me to tell anyone? Sheriff might call it theft.
Walter shook his head.
No, this is family business. I'll handle Robin myself.
He looked at me.
But I owe you. Saved me from looking the fool at the fair. Saved Robin from worse consequences.
Grain's good payment. 2 sacks.
Fair.
Walter opened the pen. The ram looked up, chewed some grain, wandered out.
You got a good eye, Ted Stonewall, for details, for how things fit together.
Just pay attention. Most burrowers don't.
The ram walked back across the field easy, through the hedge gap, into his proper paddock, familiar with the space. Walter latched the gate proper, double-checking the rope.
That business with the flower measurements last spring, when Tolman Fairfoot swore I was short-changing him. You proved the scales at the Badger's den were off, not my measuring. Saved me reputation.
Scales were obviously wrong. Tested them with standard weights.
Most burrowers wouldn't have thought to check.
Walter turned to face me.
You don't just see what's there. You see what's supposed to be there. What's missing. What doesn't fit.
Didn't know what to say to that, so said nothing.
Fair's in 2 days. You should come. My treat. And bring those 2 sacks of grain by whenever you like.
The walk back to the mill took the same 20 minutes. Father was still cursing at the water wheel, fighting a stuck bearing. Where I'd been didn't matter to him. Work was work. Grain sacks waited. Hauled them the rest of the morning. 32 sacks. Same as when I'd started. But something was different. Walter's words stayed with me. You see what's missing, what doesn't fit. Always done that. Couldn't help it. When a mechanism broke at the mill, traced the problem through the whole system until the failed piece showed itself. When flour measurements came out wrong, checked the scales, the grain quality, the grinding stone alignment. Everything was connected. Find the broken connection, fix the problem. Done the same with Walter's ram, followed the connections. Fence to hedge to field to pen, buckets to knives to timing to motivation. Each piece led to the next until the picture was complete. Most burrow folk didn't think that way. Walter saw a missing ram and thought, thieves. Walter Hayward would have thought the same. Probably the sheriff too. They see the gap where something was, don't look closer at the how and why. My mind worked different. Always had. That evening, Walter sent his daughter by with 2 sacks of grain. Seen her before. Lily Hayward. Worked the farm, worked markets. Smiled easy, talked to people like they mattered. She brought the grain sacks on a cart. Walked right up to the mill entrance instead of leaving them by the road like most do. Smiled. People don't usually smile at me.
Father says thank you for finding the ram and for being discreet.
Took the first sack off the cart, felt its weight. 200 pounds. Exactly what Walter promised. Lily was still standing there, smiling, waiting for something. A response, probably.
Just looked at details.
Father says you saved us embarrassment. Robin learned his lesson without the whole of the Burrows knowing.
Her voice was warm and beautiful.
That's kindness, not just details.
The second sack came down. Didn't know what else to say. Details were what I had.
Will you come to the fair? Father really meant the invitation. We'd like to see you there.
Looked at her. Pretty. Everyone said so. But it wasn't just that. She looked at me like I was... Words failed. They usually did.
Maybe.
She smiled again.
I hope so.
After she left, stood in the mill doorway. Sun was setting, turning the sky orange and red. Colours. Bright ones. Made me uncomfortable trying to name them. The water wheel turned steady. Grinding stones rumbled inside. 2 days passed. Grain grinding, customers coming through. Counted 32 sacks every morning. Counted them again every evening. Same number. Always the same number. But something had shifted. Didn't have words for it. Didn't matter. The harvest fair was colourful. Reds and other colours. Bright ones. Banners and things. Made me uncomfortable. Burrow folk everywhere. Hundreds of them. Talking, laughing, buying, selling. Noise pressed in from all sides. Hawkers shouting prices. Children shrieking. Livestock bleating and clucking. Smelled like fried onions and sheep dung and too many burrow folk in one place. Made my teeth itch. Kept to the edges where I could count things. 43 vendor stalls, 12 food tents, 8 livestock pens. Walter's ram won its division. Robin looked miserable and apologetic, standing next to his father. Kept his eyes down, hands in his pockets. The lass from Scary talked to someone else. Tried to leave. Make it back to the mill before.
Ted!
Lily Hayward. Waving. Standing with her family near their booth. Had to cross through the crowd. Burrow folk pressed close. Smelled like sweat and livestock and fried food. Kept my eyes on Lily's wave. Used it like a landmark. 17 steps. Counted them.
You came.
Lily's smile was genuine.
Father, look, Ted's here.
Walter turned from arranging vegetables. His face shifted when he saw me. Something warm in it. Respect, maybe.
The miller's eye.
Walter said it loud enough for nearby burrowers to hear. He'd been thinking on it.
That's what I'm calling what you do. A miller's eye sees the grain that goes in, the flour that comes out. Sees if the count's off, if something's wrong in the mechanism. You got that eye for everything. See what's missing, what doesn't fit.
Never thought of it that way. But he was right. The mill trained me. Everything's a system. Find the broken part. People around us heard, nodded. A few looked at me different. Not the usual, that's the miller's son look. Something else.
You ever solve problems for others? You let me know. I'll speak for you. You got skills beyond grinding wheat.
Nodded. Didn't trust myself to speak. The fair continued around us. Music from somewhere. Children running. Burrow folk laughing. Lily brought me cider. Robin apologized quietly, man to man. Fair exchange. Like good mill work. Everything balanced, nothing wasted. Walter shook my hand 3 times. Stayed longer than planned. 2 hours. Counted the time by the sun's position. Not comfortable, exactly, but different. Less alone, maybe. Walking home past the badger's den, heard Tolman Fairfoot telling someone about the flour measurement problem from spring. How I'd figured out the scales were off. Saved Walter's reputation.
That Ted Stonewall. He's got an eye for it. Figures things out.
The miller's eye. Back home to the mill. Father was already asleep. Grinding stones were quiet. Sat in the dark storage room, surrounded by grain sacks. 32 of them, counted and recounted. Mother died when I was 12. Father never spoke of her after. Just grinding and hauling and maintaining. That's what I learned. That's what I was. But sitting there in the dark, counting grain sacks that didn't need counting. 32, same as always. Something felt different. The Burrows had problems. Small ones, mostly. Lost things, disputes, questions without obvious answers. And I had the miller's eye. Maybe that was enough. Maybe that was something. The end.
Thank you for listening to The Miller's Eye, an original story by Ted Stonewall for the Mysteries of the Burrow. Please like and subscribe and share so others can find these stories.